Good morning from New York. Today's subject, REAL, Reflective Empathetic Awareness Living, the philosophy of inner mind communication. That's it in a nutshell. Um, there's three practices of empathy and three practices of simple awareness, all related to our feelings, our needs in life, and when these are applied, then what happens is that we begin to overcome. We What I mean by overcome, we overcome the helplessness around in our life in general, but also in regard to being aware of, express, and to be playful with the our feelings and which are born from our needs. This this approach um, is a kind of inner reflection. The practice itself is the introspective aspect, and yet in daily life we need to be reflective and use empathy when we're communicating with one another, and we also need to be aware of our own bodily, emotional state. So, and all of these things are kind of exercise the uh, to live this life, which is the life of a mystic, um, an objective mystic, um, is to live this is like exercise, and you want to exercise all of these aspects, the 6 points that I talk about in inner mind communication. And that's easily understood that you need to do all of them together because, uh, as much as possible, you have to have a balanced approach. Because suppose you work out and you only use this arm, you're going to look weird, but also it's not as good for your overall health. So the goal is to use all of these abilities um, reflectively outside in the world. Pause before you think, before you think, before you express a message to anyone, and it involves a journey within, which is the mystic journey, in part. But as I said, the mystic journey also involves being taking these values into your life, and that's politically and every other way. Um, what you find, and exactly how far you go, because these things not just comfort you, but they also take you out of your comfort zone. It feels good to exercise. but also it takes you a little out of your comfort zone so that you become healthier. Um, I need a lot more of that personally, but I'm getting old. I fall down sometimes. So yeah, but so everything has to be tailored to you, and if you're having this kind of philosophy, then you also need to practice. I remember a verse in the Bible is, where people were proclaiming, "Oh, we believe, and we've done all these, we've done this and that, and, empowered by you." Speaking of Jesus, the great mystic. Yeah, and there was a verse saying, "You believe." Okay, the devils believe and tremble. So, it's is it enough to just believe in the philosophy? No, you have to practice it, Otherwise, you really don't even know why you're doing it. So, a reflective, empathetic, aware life, real, you know. You want to make things real? Do that. So, I basically said everything I have to say about that. But I could say a little more. For those who haven't seen some of the other presentations, now we can go a little further too with the theme here. All right. Can you avoid being political and be a mystic? I don't think so. If you're following this path, that means you're an activist, not just inside yourself, but that, but in society too. It means you have to make a lot of delicate and nuanced expressions and approaches, and they have to be right for you. It doesn't mean that you're peaceful all the time. There comes a time when you have to defend democracy, your country, when you have to. But you're always offering the olive branch. That's why our eagle has, I think it's lightning in one grasp, and then the other, an olive branch. Yeah. One of our presidents said, what did it say? Something like, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, so correct me in the text if you looked it up. Something like speak or walk softly, but carry a big stick. So, it's there comes a time, but for the most part, peace is, a peaceful effort is the main thrust, not, jumping immediately into war, not an immediate retaliation, and certainly not a preemptive strike in most cases. So, you need to weigh that. Take a look. And staying home from the polls and not voting is, it's your choice, but it's really your duty to vote in a democracy. And your voice matters. There's until I can see opposing views from the right and left. I understand them. Where are they coming from? So, keeping it real, I have to say the MAGA are responding to something, or attempting to respond to something they think is challenging their comforts. Um, when in fact it's that is not the case, but also they're um, feeling like their way of life is threatened. Well, they're also sensing a lack of trust in the system, that the system is reared, is against them. Well, it's against the poor. It's very unfair to the poor. It's unfair to the middle class now, which is where democracy begins to be threatened. Democracy held firm in Germany until the middle class felt the pinch. That's when human beings start to look for a strong man to fix things, which is what the apes do. We're capable of being more reflective than that. It isn't a question of strength. A reflective view. There's a Bible verse again. Not by might, not by power, by my spirit, saith the Lord. Okay. Now, there's some truth in that. The effort is spiritual but not religious, in the sense that religion wants to push its ideas on people. What I'm reminded of there is China wanting to take Taiwan by force. Why not have such a great system that Taiwan would like to join you? I mean, the European Union came together. Maybe they would join you in one way or another. But get a clue, they don't want it. Same with Russia. Why not create a system that is just so wonderful, where everybody's doing so well, and then invite people to join, and be tolerant, some differences. Yeah, then Putin, that would be a smart Putin, and a smart Xi Jinping. That would be the smart way. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a better way. It's always better to follow a peaceful direction. Peaceful protests and so on were very effective. Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela, all used peaceful approaches and made great changes. But there was a certain little bit about force there. And there was something about the salt there in India. Not buying the salt, I think it was from Great Britain or something. Anyway, but yeah, we are always finding that comfort zones can conflict, and that's what Maga's feeling too. Their comfort zone seems to be conflicting with how people approach things today, and they're seeing, you know, oh, that's just too uncomfortable for me, so I'm going to lash out and attack. Well, if you have such a wonderful thing going, follow the advice that I would give to Xi Jinping and Putin. You know, let's see how well you can get along with each other in your own faith, and how much you can attract people to join because you're so loving and you're so successful in your efforts. Isn't that a better way? That's the problem that I have with religion. By nature, it seems to want to push people into accepting a line of belief. I don't recall any great mystic, especially Jesus, putting someone in an arm lock and saying, believe or else, right now. You know, no. That didn't happen. So when you're pushy with your comfort zone, you're not being real. You're not being reflective, empathetic, or aware in your life. Real, R-E-A-L, is the path of the true mystic. You know, make it real. And I hope that you can understand what I'm saying. You know, it's a lot of the things that people do are, you know, like overly symbolic. You know, like overly ritualized. You know, it's like ritual has some kind of benefit to it. It wouldn't be so popular. Ritual, instead of that, gets in the way of thinking and challenging your comfort zones, can be a real problem. And if it's just downright silly, it's going to turn some people off. Turns me off. So I don't see why I would ever join a group that was so tribal as most of these religions seem to be. You know, it's our way or the highway. In my mind, I can conjure up a religion that says, walk counterclockwise around the mulberry bush to be saved. Someone else, you know, which is everything, like continuing to live or avoiding some horrible punishment. And Another group says the opposite. No, the other way around the mulberry bush. And then they're pushy. Well, there isn't any grain of sense in that in the first place. It's kind of silly, and it's kind of like just believe it. Doesn't do you much good. Um, yeah, it's pushy and it's weird. Yeah, it is weird. It's close to insanity. So removed from reality. And you say, well, that doesn't happen, you know. Yes, it does. When Christians were coming over to this country, you know, and the Christians wanted to have a national Christian country um, for their religion. Yeah? Which religion? Which brand of which religion? Because the brands also compete. And they're pushy. Pushy. And people came to this country, well, not with the idea really initially that they're going to tolerate other religions. They came over because their religion was being oppressed. And at that time, Christians were killing each other over whether you should baptize a baby or not, whether you should sprinkle or dump under the water, you know, that sort of thing. And you can't make this stuff up, right? And they were killing each other over that. They weren't discussing it. They were killing each other. And you have to wonder how a great mystic like Jesus would respond to that. And yeah, the kind of the overreach of Islam, you know, where you know, that's you know, big time trouble. But there's an element of that in Judaism and Christianity too. You know, our way or the highway. Give it up. You know, yeah. Oh, there's more of that in your religion than there is in our religion. How about giving it up altogether? How about being spiritual but not religious? Why not follow the path of mystic with living a life of reflective, empathetic awareness? You know, I don't know. Am I beating a dead horse now? Imagine, you know, what a brutal kind of statement that is. Yeah, that if the horse were alive, it would be okay to beat it. See, and they say there's no, you know, so the far right has said, well, there's no innate or what do they call it? Institutionalized racism. Yeah. Well, just think about that phrase. You know. Yeah, that's institutionalized horse beating. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Love the sinner, hate the sin. Yeah, how does that work? Yeah. Well, it means that you don't allow you encroach on somebody else's freedom. That it does something you think is a sin. But a God of love allows everything its opportunity to live, and to have a time to exist, and how else would you see it? All the possibilities are there, and permitting it. Uh, from that perspective, is an act of love. That extreme tolerance. You know, if your God is a loving God, and you think He's a loving God because He's tolerant of even the most wicked and horrible things, you can't tolerate someone who is of another religion, or that's ridiculous. I really like Tennessee Brandon. Check that channel out. This guy is making it real, and in the political realm, he's very real. I watch his video, and he makes a lot of sense, and deserves to be a thriving channel. And he's a likable fellow too. You can tell. So keep it real, and it's like I like to say at the end of my presentations, poor as they are, I'm not pushing it on you. You don't have to watch. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to share the video. That's up to you if you want to do that. Yeah, I would like it if you did, but I'm not going to push it. It's up to you to decide how important it is to you. Yeah, it's up to you. And comment, oh well, I would love a few comments, polite ones. If you want to challenge what I present, then okay. Do it through questions. And when I can't answer the question, then maybe I'll be forced to think again. But yeah, the thing I like to say is namaste, because it means the honoring of something that human beings mutually have, which is a connection to the love flow, and a oneness together in this marvelous universe. And yeah. And it's it's also the potential of love, and it's the potential to arrive or to grow toward greater virtue. And so, namaste, and I'll sing you my favorite blessings. It's an old Irish blessing. I've done this a few times. If it gets old, let me know. but I just love it. And I like to sing, so, and I think everyone should sing, no matter how off key we are. It's good for you. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain falls soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Namaste. And have a great day.